You know how it goes. You get that great mini DV camera, lots of those inexpensive tapes. You shoot hours and hours of footage, and then you make us watch them and fall asleep. I'm Brian Cooley. Today I'm going to show you the simple insider secrets to video editing, turning all that raw footage into a nice, concise story. The first step to editing your video is getting it into your computer where you're going to do the editing. Now I'm going to assume you've done that already using your camcorder and probably a FireWire cable connected to your PC or your Mac and got all the raw video into your machine, and that's already done. Now, all software programs work about the same. I'll be using Adobe Premiere just because it was on sale down at the computer store. Let's get started. The first thing you do is bring all those video clips, everything you might possibly use, into your computer, into your software. I'm going to drag that in now, and now I've got a list of all the clips I'm possibly going to use up here in this little media tray. Again, that's specifically how it's done in Adobe Premiere, but other programs tend to work in a very similar manner. You bring the clips into the software so it knows what you're working with. The next step is to bring our first clip in our sequence into the timeline and then edit it down to the meat. The idea behind good video editing is to tell a story without wasting people's time. So my first clip I'm going to take here is titled number 1. And I drag it down to the timeline here. Remember, I'm trying to tell a story, so have your story in mind. Then I'm going to find just the important part of this, and I'm going to cut out everything else. So go to the point where the clip becomes interesting. And in this case, I'm scrolling back and forth. And I find the part where our little video starts. And then when I find the beginning, I hit split clip in this software. It could be a different cutting tool than what you're using. And then I delete the part ahead of that, the part before that I don't want, that I've deemed to be boring. Now I can rehearse that and make sure that all looks about like what I wanted. Okay, so we're almost to the Humane Society. Okay, good, that's the clip that I wanted. I'll go to the end of the clip and I'll see if there's any more that I want to get rid of that is also waste. And in this case, again, scrolling back and forth makes it real easy. I split the clip, and again, I delete the part after the important part. So now I've gotten rid of the junk at the beginning and the end. Oh, here's another insider's secret. When you're cutting your video, make sure you're not cutting the audio badly. Don't just cut on the picture. When there's narration or voice, make sure you're also cutting so that the audio makes sense. So let's check out our cut on that clip. Okay, so we're almost to the Humane Society. Time to go visit some cats. Okay, that's exactly what I want to get across in that clip, and I didn't upcut or cut off any of my audio. That's good. Okay, so that scene works. Now that's our first scene. We've got to do the next one and the next one and the next one the same way. Bring them in, whittle them down, bring the next one, whittle it down, just the meat, keep the story going. Oh, and each time be mindful that you're cutting your audio properly when there is audio that matters, like dialogue or narration. Now, once you have your scenes all in the timeline and they're edited down, you're not married to that plot. If you want to change the order of scenes, you can absolutely do that by dragging them around in the timeline. You just grab the video, move it around, the audio goes with it, and you can try different orders or plots or screenplays, if you will, to see what story flows the best. And then when you've got it where you want it, then you're done. Once you do have the final order and the story plays well, you want to save it. Here's an insider's secret on what to save it to. I would always save it first off to a really high-resolution file. That way, you've got a good master to work with. From that, in the future, you can always save it down to smaller files for streaming or for portables, and from that master file, you can also make DVDs later that will look great. But if you save it to a small file, you can never get the resolution back, so be careful of that. Save to a big master file. Okay, that's the basics of cutting a good story and saving it as a good master. Other options include sweetening, like titles, transitions, audio you can add like music, but those are optional. These are the key steps to taking those tapes and making a good story out of them. Now get to it, Coppola. You've got hours of footage awaiting.